There we go. There. I'm glad I checked that because I pushed the button on the Stream Deck, but apparently I didn't push it the right way. So I think we're live. I tweaked the audio a little bit. If it's too loud, please let me know. I did. I did bring up the gain quite a bit. I adjusted the gain to like 117% because I was doing some testing and I wasn't super happy with how it was sounding yesterday. So I bumped it a little bit. If it clips, if it's staticky, please let me know. I would love to get ahead of this real quick so I can adjust that. Also, I feel like I'm going to have to move. I'm going to have to do something. Nope, wrong way. Maybe more like that. I don't know. Um, Sounds good. Okay, well, sounds good. Man, I don't like that at all. Damn. Everybody, okay, so that's fine. I think I got to move. I think I got to move this text block because like with the way I had to turn that, it didn't look good, and this blocks a big chunk of my face. I think I got to change the chat box here a little bit so that it's not covering quite as much of my face, and then maybe I'll bring it up there. So let's see. We got James Collins here. We got JD. We've got Ninja Steel Blade. That's awesome. Sorry, I'm having to look over here because again, ground control isn't catching up in the multi-chat for some reason, even though I've got everything set to public. I don't understand why it's doing that. Jan is here. Thanks for joining. Appreciate you being here. I think everything, man. If I could just be off to like one side without having to dork my monitors up, I'd be a lot happier with all of this. I think maybe I just bring it all the way down, like so, and then crop it so that it's a little lower. There is a delay with it. So like, is the issue like my mouth and the words are like out of sync a little bit? Because I think let me make sure that I'm reading that. Alexander says greetings from Germany, with the chat release, not the sound. The delay is only on Twitch. It should have been clear. Okay, so my mouth and the sound coming out of it lines up appropriately. Like we can agree on that. Is that correct? Oh, that do multi-chat. I don't understand. Default. That's fine. None of this is catching up. So confused. Jan says, nice to have you back, Dave. Thank you. Appreciate that. It was real rough couple of weeks. I had an upper respiratory thing that was all right. Close enough. It's not an issue for me, but I usually okay, well, so yeah, rough couple of weeks. I had a nasty case of bronchitis that was just brutal. I almost landed in the hospital, but I managed to keep my fever down under like 103. 103 is usually my break point. If it gets above that, I give up. So yeah, so I did not go to the hospital. I'm gonna try. Where is this? Edit. Man. All right, let's see. Sorry for there. Okay, now Jorge Gomez finally on YouTube popped up over here. Even though there's been a lot of messages in YouTube, it's finally starting to pop up over here. It's like a full 5-minute delay there. That's really, really dumb. Not your fault. I want to be clear about that. But let's see. There was a question up here. Ninja Steel Blade says, I have a Casa OS server and I'm using Nginx for reverse proxy. Is there any security I can put in for image? I mean, there's a ton of things you could probably do, but you may have a harder time than normal with that using Casa OS. Casa OS is great for getting started, for doing very basic, light, basic things. I know I said basic twice there, but Casa OS isn't great for more expanded functionality, I guess is what I'm trying to get at here. And so you may have a harder time than normal with that. The only other thing I might recommend is getting a firewall to put in front of it and only allow certain things to go through. CrowdSec, there you go. That's a good one. That one will kind of act as a, not really a firewall necessarily, but it will, if it's configured correctly, I believe, create rules in your Nginx to block bad actors, bad IP addresses, that sort of thing, based on information that it is acquired from other CrowdSec users. I've never actually used it, but I've heard good things about it. Let's see. Still a bit of a cough there. All right. Let's see what we got here. Jan says, I miss your live streaming all the time. Well, thank you. I was pretty bummed that I wasn't able to make a lot of content or do a live stream. I did a live stream last week that lasted about 2 hours, and it about wrecked me. It's still in that recovery process. I'm doing considerably better now than I was, say, a week ago. I don't know how long we're going to go today, but we're gonna hang out and chat for a bit and take a look at some stuff, that sort of thing. So Jorge says, crossing the Mexico-San Diego border. Which direction? Raymond says, greetings from Canada. Thanks for joining. Appreciate it. We'll also scan image logs and block bad actors if you configure it to. That's awesome. That's the problem, Ninja Steelblade. Like, you're asking for a super specific tutorial that would likely only benefit you in the grand scheme of things. And as much as I would like to do that, those kinds of videos will actually hurt my channel when I make those super, super niche videos that are only good for like a handful of people. It's definitely because of the way YouTube is. Like, if I make a video and it does really poorly, that will actually affect the opportunity for my next video to get pushed out to as many people. So it's not, it's kind of a BS system that I've got to work with, unfortunately. I don't get any control over it. I can't tag a video as like, hey, this is a one-off. So I got to be careful with that kind of content when I do this super specific stuff that ends up being just kind of a one-off for people, unfortunately. Otherwise I would, but it just, I don't think it would be good for the channel, unfortunately. And the channel is how I pay my bills. It's how I feed my family. It's how I pay my rent, that sort of thing. So, okay, but you're asking me to make a video specific to your need. That's making a video for one person. That's not making a video that a larger group of people that will be interested in. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, it might be helpful for you, but if that video gets, 1,000 views when my videos usually get 5 times that or more, it's actually going to cause an issue with the channel. It will actually harm the channel in the long run. I could lose subscribers. I could lose all like watch time. So yeah, anyway, I think we've covered that enough. Anyway, so, and that aside, like, I'm not at all familiar with CrowdSec, and I don't know if you're using Nginx or if you're using Nginx Proxy Manager or NPM Plus. Like, there's just too many variables in there. So yeah, that's what's going on with all of that. JD is kind of all over the place on both platforms, so that's a lot of fun. Yeah, I don't know why Twitch appears to be like 2 to 3 seconds behind YouTube. Like, I'm actually seeing it on my dashboard over here for Meld Studios, the streaming software I use. So weird stuff. But yeah, so yesterday I released a video, and that was kind of bad timing. Fridays are usually never great days to release videos. And the video kind of tanked for it initially, but I was actually doing pretty well, I think. It's number 4 out of my last 10 videos, so super happy with that. Doing pretty well with the integrating Olama with Home Assistant. I may do another version of that that doesn't require dealing with NVIDIA GPUs and that sort of thing. Excuse me. I've got a pretty decent little mini PC showing up, hopefully here in the next few weeks, that has one of the newer, I guess, Intel processors with their iGPU built into it. And from my experience, those are much easier to deal with. Intel GPUs are, whether it's an iGPU or even a dedicated device like this. This is the Intel Arc Sparkle A310. Great for transcoding, not great for AI. So I don't know how the video will go with trying to use an iGPU for AI, but we'll have to see what happens. That might be fun to do. Would love it, or will love it, hopefully, when developers are able to take advantage of the NPUs that are in those new processors. Let's see, not yet for AI, though not as simple as NVIDIA GPUs, sadly. Not as simple as NVIDIA GPUs, dude. NVIDIA GPUs suck to install in Linux for the drivers and the toolkit and all of that. And I know that Nighthawk put together a little tutorial on his GitHub repository, but it's still 20 to 30 steps just to get a GPU driver to work from NVIDIA in Linux. It sucks. It would be nice if somebody would create an install script that just did all of it. Oh, I gotcha. Bruno says, "Hey, DB Tech, tell us your thoughts about Synology hard drive lock-in." I've been a big fan of Synology for a number of years. I've worked with them for almost 4 years now, I think. I've got the DS1621 XS Plus back there, and I've got the DS923 Plus, I think, back there. And I'm thankful that those two devices won't be impacted by the new thing that Synology is doing with the hard drive lock-in. I haven't really done a lot of research into the full bit. Let me do this. No, stay logged out. Tell me about the Synology hard drive lock-in. I just want to make sure. Yeah, that's kind of what I thought. So basically, I think I understand why they did it on their side of things. Because they know that they've tested the firmware on whatever their branded or whatever the OK devices are. So they know for a fact that certain functionality will work on those because they've written it to work with those firmwares and that sort of thing. So from their perspective, I kind of get it. It makes their job of writing code, of validating, vetting, that sort of thing. It makes their job a lot easier. It's very similar to what Apple has done from day one, basically. However, Apple's been doing that since day one, and Synology has only started doing that recently, and so it's upset a lot of people. But it's only the 25 and newer models that will have that. But like JD says, so it makes sense in the enterprise stuff since those customers demand a level of performance. But for home users, it makes no difference. They're really just locking smart test behind a paywall, right? And that's kind of just it. It's they're going to end up alienating their consumers, like the people like you and me. They're going to end up alienating those people to a certain degree. By requiring them to use certain hard drives. Now, I've heard that that if you migrate your disks from an old unit, like let's say a 21 or a 23, like I've got, into a 25, it doesn't affect that. So I can absolutely see some people doing one of two things: either keeping an older unit on hand for the initial setup, and then doing the migration to a newer device to avoid the restrictions that will be placed on the new device. I can absolutely see something like that happening, or possibly writing a script or a firmware bypass kind of thing that would not trigger when you put an unauthorized drive into the system. And I guess what from my perspective, as somebody who's talked a lot about Synology and has praised them for their devices and that sort of thing, when other people have said, they only support these drives. Well, up until recently, it was like they only offer support if you're using those drives. Like they weren't saying, no, you can't use these drives and you're going to lose functionality. But that's what they're doing now. You're going to lose functionality by not using drives that they recommend. And I think that's unfortunate. I think it's on the consumer side of things. I think it's unnecessary. I feel like it's going to cause issues. I feel like they're hurting their brand by doing that. Now, that said, I'm not a brand manager. And I know I say that as somebody with a brand of sorts, but I'm not good at managing it. I screw up all of the time. I am inconsistent. I am flaky. I am not what you would call a brand manager. So that said, I feel like they should have made a delineation between certain models. Like, if it's the DS923 versus the DS923 Plus, for instance, right? And whether it's the 23 or the 25 or the 27 or the 29 or whatever, right? I feel like by just saying anything after 25 is going to have this lockout feature if you don't use our branded drives or the branded drives we tell you have to. I feel like it's going to cause issues and it's going to piss a lot of people off like it has. But again, it's their product, it's their support team, it's their developers. And I think they're trying to streamline everything to be not necessarily Apple-esque, but kind of Apple-esque, so that they can be much more sure about their test results, about their performance reports, about their stability, about their longevity. They can be more sure about those things because they've tested those drives with those firmwares. So I get it. I wish they had done it differently, I guess. For home users seems to be crazy. I agree. Francisco Javier says, saludos, amigos. Thanks for joining. Appreciate you being here. Nighthawk says, I made it this week. Rain last night, so the yard's too wet to cut. Yeah, I'm actually really glad I don't have a yard here to cut. We've like xeriscaped the front and the back. The back is a beach theme with like sand and stones and that sort of thing. And the front is papered with mulch and that sort of thing. JD says the worst part, it's not like the drives are any different, just a Synology firmware that 99% of the time are not really different from the stock one, right? I mean, they could literally just be taking, as an example, I don't have anything to back this up, but they could be taking, WD Reds, or they could be taking, Synology, the Xenios drives, or whatever, the Xenos or whatever, or not the Synology, I said Synology, Seagate Xenos drives, and just writing a little bit to the firmware to say this is okay. I don't know that that's the case, but yeah, like they're trying to push people into using a specific type of drive. I don't know if they've got. It is usually the Seagate or the WD Reds. That's kind of what I figured. And I don't know if they've got a thing worked out with those brands. I don't know what the dealing was behind the scene. I haven't actually even talked to my Synology rep in a while. He emailed me about the new B drive. I don't know why you did that. That was dumb. But yeah, I don't know what they're trying to accomplish with what they did. I know I don't like it. I'm not a big fan of what they did. Yeah, that's Tom's Hardware came up with a fix. Build a pool with an old server, then migrate to a new pool. Yeah, I figured. I mentioned that. You might not have been here. It's fine. But yeah, I said that there will probably be. That's that was something I had read, is that you could set it up in one device and then move it over, until they patch it, right? Um, I'll be curious to see how this pans out. I really will. It's like I said, it's their thing. It's their thing. We'll have to see what happens, but I hope they don't alienate their audience. The people who've been a fan of them for a long time. Because like sometimes I don't have $500 for a new drive if something craps out. So I get a rebranded, refurbished something else. And if that all of a sudden doesn't work, then what am I supposed to do? Right. And of course, I don't have any of their newer hardware that would affect. But like JD said, true NAS. Mandy Alexia said, from what I'm hearing, you're better off building your own NAS by putting together a desktop. Yeah. And vote with your wallet. Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's really that, as consumers, that's really the only way we can tell brands that we don't like what they're doing, is to not buy their product anymore, is to show them that we are deliberately doing something else with our money. And I've got a good relationship with Synology, and I don't want to burn that bridge, because they've been great to work with. I just have a hard time supporting what they're doing here. Mueller says hello. Well, thank you for joining. Glad to have you here. I don't know if I've actually ever seen your name pop up before, so thanks for saying hi. I appreciate your chatting with us today. That's awesome. See, we've got, what else we got going on? JD's all over the place in both platforms. That's awesome. I think right now it's just James and JD over on Twitch, and that is fine. But just kind of funny that we got two people over there. Glad to have you though. The last couple of weeks have been rough. They've been pretty rough with being sick and whatnot. I'm feeling better. I'm doing better. I've been trying to work on some content. I made the video about the Home Assistant voice. I actually started that video before I got sick. And then the outro was filmed while I was still kind of sick. And that's why it wasn't a great video. Cause I was still sick when I edited the video. I hate that word, edited the video, and recorded that last bit. I was still not quite with it. So that video wasn't great, but I'm glad I got something out anyway. And then did the Olama video, Thursday. Did the Olama video Thursday. Because I had some requests for that, both in the comment section of the previous video and in the last live stream we did. So real happy with that. A couple of things, obviously, I would change if I had thought about it, but it's too late now. So like the live stream we did a few weeks ago, where we did the Minis Forum UM880 thing, that I'm actually using that setup right now. I'm working on a video about that, with the GPU dock and the whole bit. Ran into some issues with that. I talk about that in the video, where the default setting for the GPU, in the NVIDIA control panel, just had the fans turning on and off constantly, and the clicking sound sounded like a dying hard drive. And I could hear the sound coming from in front of me, so I knew it wasn't behind me, which duh. But I was like, there's no mechanical hard drive anywhere in there. And then I saw the fan kicking on and off. So I've got the fan curve set to a constant 20% at its minimum, and I can't even hear it right now. So real happy with how that turned out. That has lost a bunch of time there. There we go. Aruna is here. Thanks for joining. Happy to have you here. Thank you so much for being here right now. Appreciate it. We're just kind of hanging out and getting caught up over the last few weeks of being sick and trying to get some content out and that sort of thing. I'm trying to think of what else I may have done. Oh, I added some additional functionality to the voice PE, so that like when I come in here, if somebody just walks through the Akara, that Akara device right there kicks on the light that's above me. And just because there's no windows in here, it at least lets a little bit of light in here so you can pass through without stumbling over anything. But it will do like a halt who goes there kind of thing. But it's actually starting a conversation so you can respond to it and converse with it that way. And then once all of the lights come on after 30 seconds of being in here, it's like, oh, well, I guess you're going to be here for a while. Enjoy your stay, just to keep up the snarky attitude that I like the assistant to have. So it was just adding a couple of lines or a couple of things to my home assistant. Let me see if I can find it. Colin says you need to set it up so that it locks the door and they're stuck until they say the magic word. If I had smart locks in here, I might consider that, except that I've got a nonverbal autistic teenager and I do not want him getting trapped in here. So I might have to forego that, though it would be really, really funny. Yeah, that would be bad. That would definitely be bad. But I can show you kind of what this looks like. Desktop, right? Let's zoom in a little bit. And then so I've got Studio empty. That's when there's nobody in here for 30 seconds. It does its thing. Studio pass through, which is just somebody walking through, and then Studio stay. So like, I'll just bring this over here. Oh, I dumped my RAM everywhere. So as somebody walks through.
Hello, who is there? Why aren't you here?
Let's turn that up a little bit. Oh, let's try that again. I don't think that was loud enough.
Hello, who is there? Why aren't you here?
So it'll say that when somebody first walks in, which will be super confusing for some people, which I can't wait to have that happen. And then if you're going to be here for more than 30 seconds.
I guess you're going to be here for a while. Enjoy your stay.
Yep. And you can kind of see that spinning that was happening. It was waiting for me to make a response. So there you go. Just a little extra to add some additional personality to the room, I guess. Just a dumb thing. Because I wanted to try. I wanted to know how. In fact, I should have shown you this. So in the Studio pass through, right? That's a pretty good idea. So when we come into here, it's like, if the presence sensor has said, hey, the room is occupied, then turn on this, and then this one is actually disabled. Yeah, that one is actually disabled. Because you can either make an announcement or you can start a conversation. Of course, you can't really see that right there. Maybe you can kind of see through that. So assist satellite announce or assist satellite start conversation. If it just does an announcement, it will say the thing and it'll be done, and it won't wait to listen to see if you have a response for it. Or you can start a conversation where it will say, hello, who is there? Why are you here? And then I added an extra system prompt just to see what would happen. I haven't noticed anything yet, but yeah, that's something I did, I think, yesterday, just because I wanted to see what would happen. But please don't say don't have to charge you. That's a good idea. Even your server gets sick of being with you, go home. Yeah, I'll have to figure out some more stuff to do with that. Maybe what I can do is go in there into like the automations, and like if somebody's in here, oops, not there. Like on this one, like this Studio stay. Maybe I can add a condition. I have to figure something out. Like basically, if it's occupied for more than 20 minutes, then have it say something else. Like, are you still here? Or like JD said, even your servers get sick of being with you, go home. I should definitely add something like that to just add to more of the personality. I don't know. I like to just mess around with it, kind of see what happens, see what my brain comes up with. Just because. Where is that's not helpful. Oh, there we go. All right. So that's kind of what I've been up to for the last week or so. Just trying to get better, trying to get back into content. I've got a couple of scripts written out for, or at least the beginnings of scripts written out for a couple of videos. One for the mini PC setup that I'm using right now. Another for the new networking gear that Unify sent that I've had for like 2 months that I feel so crap about. But of course I got it and then I got sick. But anyway, I've got part of a script written out for that. And then Asus has also sent me some pretty awesome networking gear that isn't quite as cumbersome with the number of devices and that sort of thing as the Unify stuff is. It's like 2 to 3 nodes, kind of a mesh network with a wired backhaul or wireless backhaul option, and an outdoor module, which I thought was kind of neat that I have to check out. But yeah, so that's kind of the plan. I got some more of that content coming up. Yeah, so hopefully those videos will be coming out soon. Excuse me, geez. Nighthawk says, need to find a list of snarky comments and randomize it. Yeah, I don't know how. I feel like that would have to be done in a custom YAML file, and I don't have. I'd have to use AI to help me write that. Just because I'm not good with that kind of stuff. So anyway, that's kind of what's going on with all of that. So anyway, oops. Oh, hey, that is working. Oh man, my clock over here is still wrong. That clock is correct. This clock is wrong. So I guess let's take a look. Let's take a bit of a look at the self-hosted newsletter. There have been some changes to it recently. I heard we have this home assistant guru named Nighthawk. Yeah, no, he's pretty good with that stuff. Come on, there we go. Here we go. So I don't know if you guys heard, but Ethan has made some changes to the self-host newsletter setup thing here. This happened a few days ago, and this week, and self-hosted is now self-hosted weekly. So starting this Friday, which was yesterday, this week in self-hosted is officially being rebranded as self-host weekly. The change, man, I should zoom that in so you guys can see what I'm saying here. The change is another step in a series of updates I promised were on the horizon late last year, and of course I'm speaking on behalf of Ethan here, and builds on top of the visualization tweaks introduced in February to streamline how the newsletter's content is being consumed by readers. For the curious, there are a few factors that led to this decision. The name better aligns with the site's branding, self-host/weekly. Works better as a shortcut for sharing across the web, which I agree. Users will occasionally associate/confuse it with This Week in Tech, the brand of shows and many others. And apparently he's also still getting he's the target of occasional harassment from other platforms that believe they own the term self-hosted. That's unfortunate. There was actually, when Ethan released this over on Reddit the other day, must have been yesterday, he brought up this in the post about yesterday's newsletter, and there was a couple of people that were just unnecessarily dickish about the whole thing. I'm not going to get into all of that, but yeah, just anyway. So if you see that the site has changed, that some of the branding has changed, that the URL thread or the URL scheme has changed, that's why. It's just kind of a rebranding process that Ethan has been going through for a little bit. Yeah, Collins says this is such garbage. There's just more people who want to keep this. Yeah, one of the issues that I have, it's not just in the self-host community, right? It's in developer communities. It's in every community really. is the pedantic elitism, right? If you don't do it my way, then you're not doing it the right way. If you're doing it this way instead of that way, you're doing it wrong. My method is the only true method of self-hosting. Those kinds of things that people say, whether they say it in that verbiage or some other variation of that, is a great way to put people off from being part of the community, from enjoying the hobby, from wanting to participate and help other people. Because why would I go out and help somebody else if there's always going to be some dick in the comments telling me I'm wrong, because even though the method, the tactic, the methodology, whatever, works just fine, but because this guy doesn't like it, then everybody else who doesn't agree with him is wrong. That kind of elitism pisses me off. And again, it's not just in the self-hosting community. It's in the development community. It's in every real community, and not every real community. It's in every community. And the first time I experienced that was like way back in like 06, 07. I was learning ASP and ASP.NET. And I was like, I had a little bit of experience with PHP. I was learning to be a back-end developer, and going into like the forums and the chats and that sort of thing about ASP and what at the time .NET was very new. Trying to learn some of that and ask questions. They were some of the most off-putting people I'd ever encountered up to that point. Is, well, if you don't know this, then why are you here? And it's just because, and the answer is because, well, you've got this support forum so people can ask questions, but you're being a dick about it. Like, I'm asking what is probably a very simple thing for you that I don't have a firm grasp of. So I'm asking for help, and you're being a jerk about it. And it's unfortunate that people are like that. And look, it's not to say I've absolutely been that guy. We've talked about that at length here in previous live streams, that sort of thing. I've absolutely been that guy, and I hate it. I hate that that's who I was for a long time, and I'm trying to do better. Let's see, I missed a bunch of stuff here. Ethan has been a huge supporter and incredibly beneficial for the community. Yeah, and and it's funny because the person who left the super rude comment in Reddit was like, I appreciate what you're doing, but you're just an RSS feed for us, basically. And I was like, man, go take a long walk off a short pier. Like, I just, the way people treat others online because they're behind a keyboard and the anonymity therein just sucks. The thought process is one of the biggest detriments to the Linux desktop movement. Finding help is like you're being thrown to the wolves. Yeah. No, like the Linux community is kind of awful. And of course, I know that's a grand call for generalization, but it's very much the case of, oh, well, I only use Arch, and if you don't use Arch, then you're an idiot. Or I only use Kali, because if you don't use Kali, you're an idiot. You don't know what you're doing if you can't use, if you can't use Pac-Man to update your system, then why are you even bothering? Like, that kind of attitude, that elitism is just so unnecessary. I feel like the Linux community, the Linux desktop community, could be so much farther ahead if we all just dropped the attitude and worked together. And it was like, oh, you're having a problem with that? I've got some experience there. Here's how I've approached this in the past. And you tell them, and then everybody gets the answer they're looking for. Or maybe that starts another conversation where somebody else can add to that. But then it's this back and forth of, well, you're an idiot because you don't know that. It's like, dude, I'm just trying to ask for help. Well, you're an idiot because you don't know that. And it's this back and forth that wastes everybody's time. And it sucks. Aruna says that if you're not running a literal enterprise setup, you're not doing real home labbing at that point. Like, I don't need all of this. Like, if I'm honest, I could run my entire home lab from a mini PC. Like, it wouldn't be great, but I could absolutely do that. But yeah, people are like, oh, if you're not pulling, 15 kilowatts an hour, then why are you even bothering to have a server rack? Piss up a rope, man. Like, no one cares what your opinion is. JD says, honestly, that's why I love the DB community. Home labbers are like brains. Everyone is different, and they all think theirs is the best, right? CLRI GTFO, right? Hannah Montana or bust. That's great. be water on a duck's back. I'm new to server admin, and you've helped me immensely. I'm really glad to hear that. Here's the thing, man. I'm still learning all the time. Like I can't remember all of the commands that I use. Like I have to look up commands all the time. Or I go back into the terminal I was just in, and I push up until I find a command that looks familiar enough. Be like, oh yeah, that's the one, and I hit enter, and I hope that works. I'm still not a professional here. I still wouldn't be able to go get a sysadmin job somewhere. Like I can install Proxmox, and I can deploy some containers, and I can do some stuff, but I'm still learning too. Like I'm just sharing my journey with you guys. And I appreciate that you guys are willing to join me on that journey. Alexi says, by the way, I use Fedora. That's cool. I don't know if I've ever actually used Fedora. Like I'm sure I've used it, but not enough to be familiar with it. I know you and CLI, that's why I wrote it. Yeah, that's fair. If you use the cloud, you're not self-hosting, dude. That one pisses me off so much. Like there's no need for that mentality. And when I did the pangolin video, I got that comment so much. It's like, oh, what am I supposed to do? Like ping off of a friend's system so that I'm interfering with their, no, like I'm going to pay $11 a year for a VPS. It's basically a relay, and everything's going to be fine. So yeah. Aruna says, I run my entire setup off of a single mini PC. Dude, that's awesome. That's efficiency. CLI means I can automate. Automate means I can be lazy. Mini PC for life. They become so powerful that they can absolutely run a solid stack without an issue. Dude, 100%. I'm actually really excited about the device that I'm getting here soon. It's from a company called Minix. I don't think that's it. That is definitely not it. Minix, that's the one, I think. Yeah. I don't even know if it's in here. Here, let's go to my desktop. This is Minix. They reached out to me recently. They've got some neat stuff. But I don't know if the device I've got or that I'm getting is in here yet. I don't think it is. I think they're getting ready to release it. I'm supposed to get it in May, so it's entirely possible that it's not here yet. But yeah, it's one of those new NPU, CPU setups and all kinds of stuff. So I'm kind of excited to get that. Would probably do a great job of running an entire home lab without issue, as long as I put some more RAM in it. I don't remember if it comes with 16 or 32 gigs, but I think I've got a 64 gig kit over here I could throw in there if I really wanted to. Mandy says, today I learned how to fix 2 annoying problems in my Fedora setup. That's awesome. Keith says, hello from Oklahoma. Thanks for joining, man. Appreciate you being here and hanging out. Mandy says, I need to do more home labbing to become a good DevOps engineer. I think that's true for everybody. Let's see. What's the fix to not use Fedora and use Debian? That's pretty funny. Jovan, I'm sure I screwed that up in one of those pronunciations, says, hiya, thanks for joining. Appreciate you being here. Mandy says, use Fedora KDE Spin. I do not like GNOME, to be honest. Do you guys pronounce it GNOME or GNOME? Because to me it says GNOME, but I've actually heard people say GNOME. I don't know why. If you're not learning, you're not home labbing. I 100% agree with that, Gary. That's what I love about it, is I can find a problem in my life and figure out how to fix it with home labbing sometimes. Other times I got to go to doctors, but sometimes I can fix it in home labbing. JD says, to be honest, I don't use Linux desktop, but even then I'm not picky. Whatever works and gives me a terminal, that's fair. No, making a directory with the right ownership and fixing my problems for my PC not going into sleep properly. Yeah, ownership sucks. I hate dealing with ownership and permissions stuff. I'm not. It doesn't take much to screw up ownership and ruin the rest of your day while you try to fix it. I'm a bit interested in the device Gearling looked at with the 4X NVMe. Need to watch the video where he fixed. Dude, yeah, no, he put out that video yesterday and it's blown up, 130,000 views or something overnight, which is awesome. Let's see. The G is silent. See, I'm getting. The G is silent. Gnome, like the city in Alaska. Yeah, you guys are helpful, aren't you? Thanks. That's the way to go. Just need to learn Ansible a bit more. Yeah, I actually worked on my Ansible stuff a little bit today. When I switched everything up to the new Unify system, all of my IP addresses changed for all of my LXCs, and my VMs didn't change. My LXCs all changed. So when I was in my Ansible and Semaphore, give me just a second here. Yeah, I didn't put that on there. There we go. So when I switched everything up, and I wasn't able to use this anymore. This has got Portainer agents installed in almost all of my LXCs, so that I can easily jump in here, and be like, oh well, my link stack needs to be updated. I can come over to here, and then I can come in here and I can click recreate and repull the image and click recreate, and I'm good to go. I wasn't able to do that because all of my IP addresses had changed. So this morning I figured out how to fix that, which is actually super easy. Like using HedgeDoc as an example here, I just went into edit and changed the IP address, and then I went to that IP addresses Portainer, and then just restarted the agent, and then they all started working again. So that was awesome. I was really, really glad to see that. But then I had to take it a step farther, because I've had Ansible up and running, Ansible and Semaphore. Whoa, that was dumb. The problem was, again, all of my IP addresses changed. So my inventory, my LXC inventory over here, all of these were the wrong IP address. And the IP address for my task templates was wrong. I had to come in here and change all of this. But now if I come over to into here, this one right here for my LXCs, and click run and do a dry run and click run, now I think everything works. And I'm really, really happy with that. Everything is connecting appropriately, even across different VLANs and that sort of thing. So yeah, everything there is good. And now, hopefully soon, Ansible, Semaphore, whatever, will start going through and updating the LXCs over here that I haven't updated in longer than I should admit to. I don't really mind how you pronounce it. I just noticed that you're streaming right now. I found you through the email you sent me about Vert. Dude, that's awesome. Hell yeah, that's great. If you guys aren't familiar with Vert, is it vert.sh or Vert? Yeah, there it is. The file converter that you'll love. I'm actually really excited to talk about this here really soon. Honestly, dude, if I'm being honest, the only thing that's holding me back on this right now is the lack of PDF. I know that there's an issue with PDF being difficult. PDF has been a pain in the butt for a really, really long time. I hope that somebody's able to eventually make that easier. But I think that's the only thing that's really got me kind of held back from making content about it right now, is that the PDF isn't a thing at this point. Let me see if I just, of course, I don't have any documents on my computer. Man. Right? I can convert it to all kinds of stuff, just not PDF yet, and that makes me sad. Also, one other question, Jovan or Jovan, I'm not sure which it is. I apologize. Is there a reason this list isn't alphabetized? That's just the weird. I haven't been diagnosed with OCD, but I want to just scroll down and be like, oh well, AVIF should be up here and PNG should be down there. I feel like sorting it by, I don't know, maybe you've got your reason. I just don't know what it is. I just thrown it out there. But anyway, thank you for hanging out. I appreciate that. I'm here for lazy, right? TJ says, I never insult online, at least not being in person. Grok, on the other hand, should break off from calling him names. Oh, wow. JD says, I can help you create a dynamic inventory that will query your Proxmox host to get the IPs from the LXs. That's bonkers. Holy crap. Then I use tags in my Proxmox to define the groups I want the host to be a part of. Wow, that's really cool, JD. Ari, Akura, let's just go. Anyway, so just got into home server using N100 mini PC, only one NVMe slot and one SATA SSD slot, currently using Unraid, but a little worried about using USB as a boot drive, media server, and some other container apps. That's fair. So I actually ran Proxmox on a Zima blade, or sorry, a Zima board for a long time, and then I switched over to 3 Zima boards for a high availability cluster, and it actually went really well. Like it genuinely really, really well. Oh yeah, there you go. It loads into RAM at boot and doesn't run from the USB. There you go. That's good. Back up that USB, and there's plenty of guides on how to do that. Yep. Proxmox is fast on that. Oh no, there isn't a reason for the alphabetizing of this. We should probably fix that. It's just the same order as the array. That's fair. Again, it was just one of those random questions that I had. Null might have made it that way because the more common formats, and that was kind of my thought as well. But I get it. Just random question, random thought about that. So thank you for addressing that. I appreciate it. Aruna says the Zima board 2 seems interesting. Also, I agree. I was actually thinking about that earlier today. And it was actually because of a video, YouTube. Oh, thank you very much for tea. It's very, very hot. Thank you. She brought me tea. Hold on. YouTube. Man, if I could type. Tube.com. There we go. Let me go. I think I'm logged in over here. Subscriptions. Yeah. Veronica posted this. 45 drives hasn't sent me any hardware, and I still think they're okay. And I kind of have that same thought about the Zima board 2. I was one of the first people to get the Zima board 1. I was fairly early in getting the Zima blade. I was pretty late in getting the Zima cube, and they haven't even reached out to me about the Zima board 2. And I'm okay with that. I genuinely am. They make a cool bit of hardware. They make a cool bit of software that all kind of ties together. But it's hard for me to recommend that kind of hardware because you're locked into that piece of hardware. And I know it's kind of the same thing when we're dealing with like mini PCs and that sort of thing, except that you can upgrade the RAM in most mini PCs. You can, you've often got, more input output. You won't always get a PCI slot, but but I just feel like kind of for the price, I don't know how comfortable I am recommending something like that. I know they're relatively inexpensive, but they're a very niche product, and niche is good for a community approach to things, and I know that's what they're going for. But on the grander scheme of things, I don't know that it makes sense for as many people as it did, like 4 years ago when I did the Zima board 1. So just kind of one of those weird things. I don't know, but I still think they're doing cool stuff. I appreciate the effort that they're putting into the community, the effort that they're putting into their hardware and their software, that sort of thing. Jovan says, I just came in here to say hi and keep it up. Going to go back to coding some stuff now. Nice talking to you, and thank you for checking out the project. Absolutely. Thank you for hanging out. Super appreciate that. My current USB is 5 years old, and one was like a 10. It died when it broke while moving the server like a dummy dude. I did that with a capture card a while back. That was frustrating. The PCI on the side of the slot, or the PCI slot on the side, is a bit jank. Can't really do a permanent setup without some kind of case, I think. Yeah. So there are actual 3D prints for that, like Zima board PCIe 3D print. Okay, reject all. Like so there are options kind of like this. That's not entirely what I was looking for there, but Damn. Oh, like something like this maybe. Right, where they like this is for the Zima board 1, obviously, but it's got support here so that you could mount a Zima board, or sorry, a PCI to your Zima board securely without it flopping all over the place. So there's definitely community backing on a lot of this. There's this is for, let's see, there's a rack mount like this. This is actually pretty neat. Yeah, so there's like 3 there, and again, it's got the PCI slot thing there, so you could screw that down and hold it in place. So there's definitely that, but of course that then means you need a 3D printer, or you need to send this off to be 3D printed. So it's definitely more of a maker space kind of thing when you want to go into that realm of things. That's really, really funny. That's hilarious. And there's the guts for it. That is hilarious. I'd never seen that before, but I friggin' love that. Oh, and it's got the Zima board right there. That's super, super funny. Right. I'm actually gonna post this link in here because that's really good. I'm just gonna share that. That's really, really funny. Let's see, what else have I missed up here? I think the Zima boards are cool but overpriced. Yeah, like and they're using the N150 on this. Again, you can't upgrade the storage. You can't upgrade the RAM. The Zima Blade was kind of cool because you could upgrade the RAM if you wanted to, but it used DDR3 SODIMM slots, which are expensive or were expensive until they released their own. So it's a mixed bag. It's for a very niche audience, but I appreciate what they're doing. I appreciate that they are targeting a specific demographic, and I think that's great. It runs on a toaster, right? That's great. So yeah. Anyway, JD, going back to this, if we could chat about that in Discord, that'd be super, super awesome. Maybe I can glean enough information off of that to maybe make a video about it to help others, because that might be fun. So I don't know, we'll see. But no, that's very cool. I appreciate the offer on that. All right. So this is the one from yesterday. Like we're really staying on top of it finally. Self-Host Weekly is an independent publication supported by its readers. Consider donation to show your support and help offset the cost associated with running the newsletter. There's a donation link right there that you should click if you got the means to do that. They go on to say, if you missed yesterday's announcement, this newsletter has been officially rebranded to Self-Host Weekly. I explain the rationale behind the name change in the post below, but the important bit is that nothing else is changing. The content, timing, and delivery methods will stay the same. So super, super stoked about that. Really love that Ethan has been doing this for as long as he has. And I genuinely don't know how he does it every week without fail. Blows my mind. So there's the post for that. I've also been slowly releasing updates and features to my icon collection over at Icons, which I've outlined in this post I made on Reddit earlier this week. As usual, I'd encourage everyone to check them out and submit requests for any that I might be missing. Dude, if you need icons for your home lab, dude, like there is so much in here. Is that really Bank of America? Holy crap. That I didn't expect that. I don't know why. Just scrolled by and I was like, no, I can't have seen that right. And Chase Bank. But yeah, like all kinds of anything you could possibly need in here. And if you can't, then I'm sure he can help you find it. But like some of these, not all of them, some of them you can click and get different variations of them. Depending on what your aesthetic is on your dashboard or whatever. Dumb budget, dumb do, dumb drop, dumb can, dumb pad, dumb who is. Yeah, that's awesome. That's really cool. I'm glad those are in there as well. So anyway, lots of really, really cool stuff in here. This page, we're only up to the Fs, and we've been scrolling for a minute now. So, yeah, like very, very often there are different options for what you're looking for the aesthetic. And of course, if you need to, you can say light icons or dark icons or self-host only icons. So you can break those out the way you want to. So love that is a thing. In actual self-hosting news, there was a ton of activity and software to keep everyone busy this weekend. I've captured 22 launches, 18 updates, and 20 directory additions below. Otherwise, there were a few projects updated to open source licenses this week. They're worth checking out. And Redditor Stolke is looking for feedback on existing Caddy users or from existing Caddy users regarding a project that they're working on bringing to a configuration to interface to the platform. That's awesome. All right, Nighthawk, thanks for hanging out for a bit. We'll check you over in Discord. I don't know why I said it that way. I don't talk like that. Sometimes words just fall out and I have to try to catch them. Anyway, in the news, NLNet 42 free and open source projects receive funding to reclaim the public nature of the internet. That's amazing. Register Day for Community Day 2025. Device verification and email two-factor authentication. What is this? I'm confused about this. Oh, this is for Ghost. Oops, I clicked the wrong thing. Yeah, this is for Ghost. That's great. Love seeing additional security being added to that. I would love to switch to Ghost for dbtechreviews.com. But one of the issues with that are tags. I don't know if I can. Oops, no. But because of how I've got this set up with tags and whatnot, migrating over to Ghost is a huge undertaking without manually deleting all of the tags either before or after the migration. And I hate myself most days, but not enough to put myself through all of that. So not going to go that route, though I love Ghost. I think it's great. All right, Discord and the Fediverse. The Fediverse offers ways to expand the reach of discourse communities and help them build bridges with an ellipsis. Well, yeah. So apparently, a Discord and ActivityPub are working together. That's cool. Peter says, "Cheers from Montreal. Hope you're all doing well." Well, thank you so much for joining today, Peter. Appreciate you being here, hanging out for a bit. Always happy to see familiar faces and, of course, new faces as well. Oh, I love the tea. Oh, let's see. What else we got here? Software updates. We got Beaver Habit Tracker. I really need a habit tracker to help me build better new habits. The problem is I'm not good about using them, so I got to get in the habit of using them and doing the habit at the same time, and I feel like it's just asking too much of me right now. It's got some demos. We've got a Docker setup here. That's kind of cool. So let's take a look at the demo here. Do it right. Yeah, you need a habit tracker to help you use your habit tracker to create new habits. It's not far off. Habitica was actually one that I really, really liked. If you're not familiar with Habitica, it's like this RPG style thing that you can do where like you build up the habits that you want to build, and then each task that you complete allows you to gain experience points and fight bad guys. And anytime you don't do the habit on the time frame that you scheduled yourself to do that habit, then the bad guys attack you and you lose hit points and all that kind of stuff. And of course, you can level up with experience points. The problem is self-hosting. It's not great. I made a video on it a few years ago, and I absolutely love it. But the self-hosting, I don't think is official, and it hasn't been maintained. Or last time I looked at it, it hadn't been maintained all that well. Host, nope. Ghost, nothing there. But yeah, like let's see. Habitica. self-hosted, right? And then Habit RPG, I think. Habitic iOS, was this it? No, that's the native iOS app. But I really liked the idea of this. Like, I really felt like this was going to help me because, I want to level up. I want to do the thing. But this Habitica integration enables you to monitor your adventure's progress and stats from Habitica in Home Assistant and seamlessly integrates your to-dos, daily tasks, and many more things. This is brilliant. I didn't even know this was a thing until right now. But there was at one point the option to self-host this, and I loved it, but there were so many things that were broken. Like, you couldn't invite your friends, you couldn't go on raids together, you couldn't do all of the things that make it, exciting, I guess. So not being able to self-host this officially makes me sad. I wish there was a better self-hosted version of this. So it looks like, I apologize. It looks like we're getting some ads over on Twitch right now. If you're over there and you're not a subscriber, if you're not a subscriber and you're on Twitch, if you've got an Amazon Prime account, you can link your Amazon Prime to your Twitch because they're the same parent company. And then you can subscribe to a channel basically for free once a month. I make a couple of bucks and it doesn't cost you anything. So anyway, just that little spiel out of the way. But anyway, yeah. So I was thinking about moving all of this over to Ghost, and then I got it migrated, and then realized that deleting tags wasn't going to be much of an option, and that made me sad. So anyway, Beaver Habit Tracker. I really should do something with a habit tracker. We were actually looking there, and I got sidetracked. Gonna make a cup. That's awesome. Oh, and Peter, you got me in the mood for something hot, a latte pan. Yeah, perhaps. Yeah, I really like a good hot tea or a hot latte or something like that from time to time. Says do anything. Add. Okay. This is kind of like Simone Yurtz's habit tracker, just on a screen instead of a tactile physical thing. All right. Next, we've got Caddy. Apparently, there's an update there. Encrypted client, hello. Post-quantum key knowledge, Acme protocols via header, global DNS provider, wildcards by default, global DNS configure. That's a lot of updates. That's crazy. DocMost has a new update, public page and sub page sharing. In this minor release, we fixed the page exporting bug reported here. Cool. That's awesome. Alexi says, I'm actually looking into Hugo to host my very first blog, but deploying it through GitHub Pages. I know it's not self-hosted in the self-hosted way. Oh, well, then you've failed already, according to a lot of people. But if it works and you don't want to deal with the overhead, you want to deal with the possible downtime of your internet going down, man, have at. I think that's awesome. I think that's a great idea. Investment tracking portfolio, database optimizations for that one. Endurain, new activity and gear type activity lapse, enhanced activity page on mobile, bulk updates, and new icons. Cool. I've thought about doing something. There've been a couple of these different like health self-hosted fitness trackers, but I don't know. Again, I started wearing my watch, my fitness tracking watch a couple of weeks ago when I was sick, so I could just at least kind of monitor my oxygen levels a little easier. But I'm so bad about wearing stuff that will keep track of that I don't know that something like this would be all that helpful for me. But obviously there's a market for that. So Flink, spam protection block list, static pages, authentication, custom themes, disable metrics. Flink. I don't know if I've looked at Flink. Flink does not sound familiar. I don't. Man, is there Flink? Let's see. All right. Well, kind of a cute logo. No argument with that. Damn. You can Flinkify it, huh? Well, okay, so you can run it this way. So you can run this as a Docker image, but I don't see any volume there. Oh, here we go. There we go. Okay, so you can use a SQLite database. It looks like we're using a .d. Yeah, you could do something like that. Host directory. Yeah, so I guess you could do that if you wanted to. Stick it behind Cloudflare and really piss off the purists, right? I've actually considered moving away from Cloudflare. With the new updates that Pangolin has done with their multi-domain stuff and all of that, I've actually considered moving over to Pangolin for my reverse proxy tunnel thing. Just because I like the idea of how that works. I would just need to do some more research on it and that sort of thing. I haven't taken a look at it since it was still in beta. And I know it's come a long way since beta. So I'm thinking about moving over to Pangolin for all of that. But again, I'd have to use my rented VPS, and that'll piss off the purists as well. So you just can't win. Fluid calendar. What is this? I'm curious about this. No description, website, or topic provided. Neat. That's not helpful. An open source alternative to Motion designed for intelligent task scheduling, calendar management. Helps you stay on top of your tasks with smart scheduling capabilities, calendar integration, and customizable workflows. That's kind of cool. I was considering making an old school website with frames and everything just for fun. You know, it's funny that you mentioned that. There we go. Because it's funny when you look at really old school websites from, like even as early as like the early 2000s. Everything was very boxy. Everything was very compartmentalized. Everything was very square. It was all done in tables back then. And I know that we're not using tables for the most part anymore in front-end development anyway. But a lot of that boxiness, a lot of that very generic, square-edged, isolated, a lot of that styling from the early 2000s is coming back in the way the new websites are being built. And I think it's just an interesting idea that we've been, some of us anyway, have been around long enough to remember the boxiness and all of that of the original websites that were out there. And now we're seeing it coming full circle again. Just kind of a weird place to be. To know that I was there at the beginning of the internet, and it's kind of like the clothes that like my wife and I wore when we were teenagers and young adults in the late 90s, early 2000s. Like those clothing styles are coming back, and that aesthetic is coming back, and it's interesting to see. I mean, I guess kind of the same thing our parents saw. Growing up in the 60s and 70s and that sort of thing, and 80s, depending on your age. But it's just interesting to actually see that firsthand, how the styles of clothes that I wore as a teen and young adult are coming back as well. Just one of those weird observations. Oh, here comes the noisy kid. Hey. Thank you. Go away. Thank you. Off you go. Go. Thank you. Slam. There we go. Anyway, now the VPS is just part of the self-hosting. Keep your IP private. I agree. But if you're renting a VPS, how dare you? How dare you use third-party infrastructure for your self-hosting needs? That's. I actually saw people complain about that in my original Pangolin video. I was just blown away. Aruna says, but it's coming back with 47 megs of added JavaScript. That is no joke, dude. The amount of JavaScript that is being used, no No, they must use JavaScript because it executed on your PC and not on their server. Yeah, I think there's it wouldn't. I haven't actually done any research on this, but it's an interesting idea that they would do that so that everything renders client side instead of server side to reduce server loads, to help with that sort of thing. So let's see. Listen, I don't run my own fiber and deal with that, right? Like, and that was kind of my thought on that as well. It's like, cool, you don't own your phone number. Like you're renting your phone number from your phone provider until you quit paying the bill, and then it's not your phone number anymore, right? You're not your IP address changes periodically unless you got it dedicated. Like you're renting your service from a third party, no matter how you want to lay this out. And for people to be that pedantic about it is just mind blowing to me. Kids can't live with them, can't live without them. Had 3 of my own, love them to death. Yeah. This one's doing better. We went through a rough patch. For like 14 months or something, due to some med issues that we were having with him. Got some new meds. They've been working really well for the past few months, and it's been going well. He's been a lot more of a pleasant human being to be around over the past few months. It's been really nice. So, yeah. Aruna says you should set up your own hosting provider and data centers, or it's not even real self-hosting, right? Like, oh yeah, no worries, man. Like you don't apologize, man. Like I'm super open about what's going on in my life and that sort of thing, almost to a fault, almost to a point where I know that I frustrate people because sometimes I just don't shut up about it. So, dude, that is a me thing, not a you thing. Please don't apologize. Martin Higgs says not gonna time to stay. Just popped in to see how you're doing. Thanks, man. Doing well. Glad to see you here for at least a moment. Really appreciate it. I hope you're also doing well. Hopefully you can stay and hang out a little bit longer. Next time, Mental 6666 subscribed over on Twitch. So thank you very much for that. It says it was 2 hours ago. That doesn't seem right since we've only been at this for an hour and 18 minutes. But the clock on my computer is the wrong time, so that's the issue. But anyway, Mental 6666, thank you for the subscription. Appreciate that. Martin Higgs, thank you for stopping by to say hi. Appreciate you very much for that. Let's go back over to here. Glad to hear it, Martin. Really, really glad to hear it. So we've got a reverse proxy here called GoDoxy. I've never heard of this. And this is under the software updates section. So kind of not that one. This one. Easy to use reverse proxy with Docker integration. It looks kind of neat. Check out the full documentation for the wikis there. Excuse me. Table of contents, running demo, key features. Simple labels or web UI, simple multi-node setup. That's cool. Detailed error messages for easy troubleshooting. ACL, that's awesome. Advanced automation, automatic SSL certificate management. Let's encrypt. Auto configuration for Docker containers, hot reloading of configurations, and container state changes. Dude. Idle sleep and wake. Stop and wake containers based on stop and wake traffic. Wow. Let me try that again. Stop and wake containers based on traffic, both Docker containers and Proxmox LXCs. That's bonkers. Let's look at that screenshot for that. Idle sleeper. Wow. Look, I know that this isn't showing a lot, but just the idea that you can do that is really, really impressive. Might have to actually take a look at GoDoxy. I've never heard of it until recently, until today. Mental 6666 says I'm in the future. I believe that. I absolutely believe that. 1.7 thousand stars rather. Gonna have to take a look at GoDoxy because that looks really, really interesting. I feel like that would be a lot of fun to do. Providers.example.yaml. Definitely have to dig into that. Definitely going to have to dig into that. That looks like a pretty interesting thing there. Go to social, gallery style profile, layout option, token enhancement, create managed application view settings. Go to social sounds familiar, but I don't know what it is. Activity pub server. Gotcha. Starting and stopping containers is sick. If this works like I think it does, I tried at some point to set up a Minecraft server that would go to sleep when not in use, and couldn't do it reliably. Yeah, there was a Docker container that could do that, and I can't think of the name of it, but there was a Docker container that would do that, and I think it's kind of that same idea as far as the technology behind it. But no, I think that's really cool. Hortus Fox, I still need to make a video on this. We talked about Hortus Fox last week, about how I need to make that video. Image frame, so photo display. This is an app for a photo display setup. Logify, support for multiple remote Docker hosts, multi-architecture image support exception, handling when connections stop, reconnect mechanism. Logify, weird. Monitor Docker logs and send notifications. Lightweight tool that monitors Docker container logs for predefined keywords or regex patterns and sends notifications. That's cool, but I hate regex. I am so bad with regex. It doesn't make sense. The patterns in it don't make sense to me. And it's so powerful, regex is. But it is, I don't have that brain. I do not have that brain to figure out how to use regex effectively or appropriately or whatever you want to call it. But that's cool. It can send notifications for like invalid logins or down, like that's pretty neat. Regex is one of the legit use cases for LLMs. That's pretty funny. It makes sense if you think about it like a computer. Well, thank you. That's super helpful. It's also why I'm not a back-end developer, because my brain doesn't work that way. Mini notes. I feel like we've talked about mini notes in the past. Maybe is this the one? I feel like we've talked about mini notes in the past, but I don't know if I ever actually made a video about it. I did not make a video about mini notes. Thought I had, and of course I clicked right there. I shouldn't have. Mini Notes is a markdown note-taking app designed for simplicity. Easily create or import your vault and organize your thoughts right away. That's pretty neat. JD says, as a back-end person, that's how I feel about front-end. Dude, front-end used to be super simple. And now, like we talked about a minute ago, with different JavaScript libraries and the different things you can do with style sheets these days, and the different frameworks that are out there, and it's so much to keep up with these days. I don't know how. I miss the good old days, I guess, is what I'm trying to say there. Runa says, I had this problem on a server, so I decided to solve it with regex. Now I have two problems. I feel like I would have more than a half a dozen if I went that route. Pocket ID, which is authentication, that's cool. Streamy stats, watch time per hour, transcoding statistics, Jellyfin import, playback reporting plugin import, backup import setting up. But is this just for Jellyfin, or does this also support Plex? Excuse me. This only supports Jellyfin, which is fine. I just don't use Jellyfin, so I wouldn't be able to actually talk about this. This is a hobby project of mine. Don't expect fast development. I appreciate that being right at the top. JD's like, yeah, two that you know of, right? Yep, that's absolutely it. Let's see. WG dashboard. A WireGuard dashboard, duh. Simple dashboard for WireGuard VPN written in Python and Vue.js. Here we go. This is what I wanted to see, was like screenshots. It still really, really bothers me when somebody has a project that they put a lot of time and effort into, and they put it up on GitHub, and then they don't put screenshots of what it will look like. I very often will skip a project if there aren't screenshots. Like, let me see at least what I should expect to see, like, and this is great. I really appreciate this. This is really good. Wow. But there, it said something else. Additional languages, amnesia support. We actually talked about amnesia a while back. Raw edit WireGuard configs, system status views, share peer via email, upload existing configs. That's cool. Honestly, for WireGuard, think WG Easy is great. I don't think I've used it. Like I said, I used Amnesia just because I was curious about it, and I thought the developers were doing something cool. Haven't really touched it since then. Work lens, not ringing any bells. 1.6K stars. All-in-one project management tool for efficient teams. Oh, all right. So that's cool. It's a dumb, simple WireGuard setup via Docker. That's cool. All right, nice. Yeah, no, that's cool. Huh. And YamTrack added comics as standalone media type, export release. YamTrack? I don't know what a YamTrack is. A self-hosted media tracker. Well, there you go. Dang. Last update was 2 days ago. Well, that's fun. Let's take a look at some new stuff, though. Anira, which is media streaming, so we can't touch it. BitPlay is the same thing. We're not going to touch that. Boson, lightweight machine learning research platform. That sounds interesting. Self-contained, lightweight, and out-of-the-box research platform for modern ML. I don't know what an ML is. Oh, machine learning. That makes sense. It centralizes essential tools to help keep teams keep projects lean, organized, and reproducible while reducing overhead and boosting productivity. Think Databricks or SageMaker, but local and free. Local and free is awesome. But I'm not a developer, so I don't know if this would be something that I would ever be able to speak to in any kind of intelligent way. Car Care, workshop management system for vehicle service centers. So this is kind of like that. Oh, was it Lube? There was a Lube Logger. Lube Logger was like a video that I did almost a year ago, where we showed how you can keep track of maintenance done on your vehicles and receipts and all that kind of stuff. This is the opposite side of that. This is for if you have a service center where you're working on other people's cars. This will give you the opportunity to keep track of all of that and issue invoices and that sort of stuff. So that's pretty neat. Try the demo. Company name is DB Tech. Create a demo. Oh, geez. Okay, the password is Car Care. Holy crap. All right. Never. So we've got work that needs to be done. Started on. Okay. Clients. That's funny. It added me as a client. Vehicles. All right. Let's see if I go. Wait. Hold on. Okay. Engine. Oh, so we're just doing an oil change there. In progress. Oh, cash, bank transfer, card payment. Okay. Oh, and then you can send them an invoice. That's neat. What does that look like? Huh. I mean, it's not bad. That's actually, for being a basic setup or a demo setup, that's actually pretty cool. I dig that. Of course, I'm not a car care company, so I don't know how much sense that makes for me, but still kind of a cool app. That's great. Let's see what else we got here. Composer, stack and container management web interface. So Quiet Association says, hey guys, what's up? glad to have you here. Thanks for joining, hanging out for a minute. Appreciate seeing new and familiar faces alike. Super appreciate you being here. Doing pretty well. I hope everybody else here is doing well also. Yeah. So no, Quiet Association. Thanks for hanging out. Appreciate that. We're just taking a look at the Self-Host Weekly newsletter. There's been kind of a revamp on that. Oh, oof, man, that's a screenshot. I'm not going to argue that. This application has full control over Docker containers on your system. It should only be deployed in trusted environments and should not be exposed to the public internet without proper authentication. That's true. I agree. You got light mode and dark mode. I don't see. You can batch select. I don't see how you would deploy. Oh, no. I don't know how. Oh, I think you'd have to like actually map out all of your different Docker Compose files. That's what I'm seeing here, right? Like path to your project, a different path to another project, and then the Docker socket. I feel like you're going to have to create a Docker Compose in each different directory and then deploy those in this interface. I don't know how I feel about that. All right. Well, to each their own, you know. Content Hub, project documentation, change logs, and roadmaps via Markdown. We've got this. So it's like another note-taking documentation kind of thing. I'm seeing a lot of those these days. Fix that. Yeah, if that's correct, that's crazy. We manage robust. Yeah, I wouldn't want to manage it that way. But again, I don't know if that's the actual method, but like based on the structure that I was seeing in that, that's how it looked to me in that Docker Compose. Let's see. Ghost Hub, mobile first media. That's not what. No, we're skipping that one because that's media streaming. Hugo Nest, mobile companion for Hugo static sites and blogs. Interesting. Manage your Hugo blog from anywhere, anytime with that. That's actually pretty neat. Is there not a... There. Oh, gosh. And excuse me, I actually slept pretty well last night. I don't know what that is. Do they not have... There's a GitHub. This is what I wanted to see. No. Man, I was really hoping that this would be like a self-hostable thing, but this is get started free. Okay, so it's just an app that you install. Interesting. Jellyfin, kindly RSS reader. Oh, it's a feed aggregator designed for e-ink devices. I wonder if there's a screenshot. Is there? There it is. Oh, like actual photographs. Cool. All right. I think I've actually got an e-ink device on the shelf behind me over here somewhere, but I've never used it. I think it was my mother-in-law's, and then she never used it and ended up with my wife. My wife ended up with it, I guess, and then she never used it, so it's just kind of in a stack. Do Costos, shared expense management and splitting. Interesting. Notice screen, display notices and require acknowledgement from users before being directed to a URL. OPD shelf, fast and lightweight OPDS server for ebook libraries, OpenLeaf, minimal browser-based text editor. I actually took a look at this and kind of dig the aesthetic of it, I think. Maybe, yeah. Just super basic, which I dig. I actually tried deploying it and it didn't go well. I think it was this one anyway. Maybe it wasn't this one. Nope, it wasn't this one. It was a different one I tried to deploy. Oh, it was Pad. It was Pad.ws I tried to deploy because I liked the aesthetic of it. That's the one. It's kind of a whiteboard kind of thing, and I thought that would be really awesome. Um, um, all right. Thanks for hanging out, Alexia. Appreciate it. See you next time. But yeah, whiteboard dev environment via the browser. I thought that was great. Storage. Self-hosted instance checker. Windows PowerShell script for monitoring online status of self-hosted services with support. So anyway, display interface statistics for Plex library, fast, modern, flat file wiki written in Go. So wiki Go. I feel like I've seen this before. Interesting. They said they've got a demo here. So admin and demo 1, 2, 3. Great. I don't know. Can you new document title? We've looked at something like this in the past, and I can't think of what it was called, but that's cool, I guess. Quiet Association says, I found a used computer for about $620. Planning to use the GPU in my Unraid server and use other parts for an offsite TrueNAS scale backup servers. Thoughts? Component base. Okay, so it's a Fractal Design S2, iCore 10600K, Cooler Master Hyper 212, Asus ROG Strix Z490. Okay, I mean, it sounds like it would be a pretty decent system for whatever you're doing with it. Oh gosh. Oh man. Yeah, I mean that kind of didn't get a message when you went live. That is weird. You should have, but I don't know why you didn't. I'm glad you're here now, Thomas. I appreciate seeing you here. Like I've got, man, I don't even know. I got a lot of words that I want to come out of my face before I verify any of them. Let me go over here. Take a look. Profile. Yeah, like if you follow me on Twitter or Mastodon, I'm on Fostodon, but Mastodon kind of the same thing. And Facebook, all of those, like when I go live, my active pieces automation system will send notifications out to those platforms. For whatever reason, there's no integration with Blue Sky yet, which makes me sad. I really wish they would get an integration with Blue Sky because apparently it's super easy to do. There wasn't an everybody ping in Discord. Oh yeah, well that's Collins' fault then. He's usually the one that does that. That said, I'm joking, obviously, but in Discord as well, there is also, I can show you this. Just yeah. Oops, right there. You're good, Collins. I do have a content bot that also gets published here. But anyway, yeah, I try to have it post as many places as I can, without too much effort, if I'm being honest. Again, I really wish there was a Blue Sky integration with active pieces, just because it would make my life easier. Let me try this. I don't even know if this is going to work. Man, never. So like this is my active pieces setup, and this is the automation that runs. So if there's a new video on YouTube, it'll create a tweet, it'll create a Facebook post, a post status on Mastodon, or in my case, Fostodon, and Discord, and then it'll delay for 26 hours and then post again on Twitter and Facebook. But again, I really wish there was an option for, like, under connections. I wish there was an option for Blue Sky, but there isn't. And I don't know why. There's just some things that they haven't done yet that is super, super frustrating. Like for instance, right? Let's say like this one is currently paused. Like it did the first part of this automation, right? It said, hey, there's a new video. We're going to create these posts. We're right here on step 6 right now. But right here, there's no option to stop it. At DB tech spam. Oh, right. Yeah, hello. Yeah. So I don't know why. I had to block somebody in Twitch earlier, so their stupid thing was still showing up there. Anywho, yeah. So my problem with active pieces right now is that like this is paused. There's no way for me to stop this or delete it or make it not happen anymore. Like I can retry on the latest version, but I can't stop it. I can't pause it. I can't remove it. Lost connection a bit. No worries, man. I think the hardware you've got is going to make a great server for whatever you do with it. But yeah, my issue here is that I can't stop this from running again. And that's super frustrating. I've put in requests. Other people have put in requests. I'm sure of like, hey, I don't want this to run anymore. Something has changed that string of events doesn't need to happen again because there was a problem. I don't want to have to keep going back and deleting all of these posts on all of my different social medias. There's no way. And that's super, super frustrating. What is my Mastodon handle? I don't know. Is that it? That is it. So I'm on Fostodon. I don't know. Can I share this? Yeah, let's do this. Copy here. I'm going to do this so I don't screw it up. Then we're going to create a new one, and then I'm going to paste that right there. Then I'm not going to let you see my email. I love you guys, but I don't trust you enough for that just yet. So if you want to follow me over on Mastodon or Fostodon or whatever you want, whatever version of it you're on, it's right there. That's how you can follow me over there. Like I said, I'm also on Blue Sky. I'm on Twitter, on Facebook. I think those are really the only places that I still am. Like I've got a Threads account, but I don't use it. I've got an Instagram account. I don't use it. I think I deleted my TikTok account because I didn't use it. I had an original MySpace account, and then when Justin Timberlake bought the new MySpace or released the new MySpace, I had an account on there, but never did anything with it. I had a DB Tech.fans, but not an OF. So yeah, so those are the best places to find me. Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, Mastodon, Fostodon, Blue Sky. I post there fairly regularly, not as often as I should because I'm really, really bad about consistency. Yeah, that's OF, Aruna. That's what he was talking about up above. Don't have one of those. I promise you don't want me to have one of those. But yeah, so that's kind of that was the majority, I think, of the self-host weekly stuff there. There's some latest directory apps, but that's Papra. I'm actually going to make a video about Papra. It's kind of like paperless, but actually built by this dude who you've probably been familiar with because of IT Tools and Enclosed. Same developer for this Papra. So like if you're familiar with IT Tools, That's that guy. And then same thing with enclosed. We've actually made videos about both of those platforms. He actually reached out recently to let me know that he's working on Papra. Papra, I don't know, man. But it's kind of like paperless. And I was holding off on making this until he had one bit of functionality built in. We can see the features that are currently there. The thing that I was waiting for was the ability to say scan into a folder and have it recognize that folder. And he's added that functionality. Where did it go? Tagging. And anyway, I don't even know if it's in here, but anyway, adding the ability to import from a folder on a server was added recently, and that kind of gives me the confidence to go ahead and get this in video done at some point. Set up ingestion folder. So there's a whole different Docker Compose right here for that, where you can see all of that information there. So kind of excited about this one. I think that's going to be good. I think a lot of people will like it. Of course, because it is the internet, most of the comments are going to be, I'm already using paperless NG or NGX or paperless or whatever. Why should I switch? And that's never my goal. I'm almost never trying to get somebody to switch from what they're doing, what works for them. Just trying to show people what's an option, what's out there, and maybe give them an idea to check out something different if they haven't in a while. So my goal is almost never to get people to switch from what they're doing. My goal is to let people know that there are other options out there and to try to inform them about them in the most unbiased way I possibly can, unless I've got a bias against it for some reason. And sometimes I do. Let's see. No, you tell them they are wrong and your way is the only way that's correct when it's in that home labbing, basically, right? Nobody says, did you ever try to self-host your own email server? I've heard it's the one thing that's not worth it because you got to put spam list. Yeah, so I actually made a video about that. Let me see if I can find an email. Yeah, let's talk about, let me drag this over here. Turn that all the way down. Yeah, so this gives you an idea of how old this video is. This is years ago. June 22nd of 2021, almost 4 years ago, I made this video because, oh, you can't see it, damn it. I made this video June of 2021, almost 4 years ago. It says 3 right here, almost 4. Yeah, hosting your own email server can be a nightmare for a number of reasons. One of those, like you mentioned, is the IP address issue. If you're on if your ISP does that thing where they rotate your IP addresses regularly, however often it happens to be, you don't know who had that IP address before you, and they may have done some nefarious things that got that IP address put on a list. And if that IP address is on a list, sorry, I got like a cat here or something there. If that IP address is on a list, then all of the email that you send from that IP address is going to end up in everybody's spam folder, even if it's a legitimate email. You can go through a process to try to get that IP address unbanned, but what's the point? Because you're only going to have it for a short period of time, and then somebody else is going to screw it up inevitably. So also, if your IP address rotates regularly, then you got to update all of your records to point to that new IP address. And that can be automated, but if something goes wrong and your IP doesn't get updated, then your email is not going to send or receive. Or again, you'll have an email address that's been associated with a spam that will then get flagged and none of your email will go through anyway. So in my opinion, it's just not worth hosting email. There are too many variables that could cause issues, whether you're just a home user or a business user. Hey, no one wants to hear your opinion. Go away. Thank you. So yeah, like if you've got a VPS and you're setting up self-hosting that way and you're guaranteed that IP address, in that case, it might be worth cleaning up the IP address's reputation if it's possible to do that. Um, but it's such a crapshoot. So anyway, yeah, I don't recommend anybody host their own email. Like JD says, as somebody who has maintained a business exchange server back in the day, never again. Just pay the $5 a month. 100% agree with that. Aruna says I hosted my own email and a VPS for about 10 years, but stopped.
I guess you're going to be here.
Yes. That's because he went through and it triggered the Akara. Let's see, for about 10 years, but stopped because I didn't need that mail domain anymore. Should have just kept the VPS just for the trusted IP. Dude, right? Yeah. JD says, I want to hear it. Sometimes he's got an opinion that's funny. Most of the time he's just a teenager and has opinions that nobody wants to hear. So, it's the joy of being a teenager, that sort of thing. But yeah, I don't encourage anybody host their own email. It just sounds like such a bad. It just seems like such a bad idea. That's not what I wanted. I wanted to go back to here. If you run a Plex server, you may want to check out this optimal Plex settings for privacy conscious users. This has actually been on his site for a while, but I definitely encourage people to check it out. Just because I'm going to share this a couple of times over there and a couple of times over there, just so you can check that out depending on which side you're on. It does a really good job of going through each of these different settings to talk about all of the different things that you can do to help isolate your data from going out where it doesn't need to belong. Monarchius says, hi there. Hi all. Just checking in. Glad to have you here. Thanks for stopping by to say hi. Aruna says, optimal Plex setting for privacy, install Jellyfin. Yeah, it's just Jellyfin isn't as user-friendly, excuse me, with different apps for, say, TVs and things like that. And I really need my system to be as user-friendly as possible. I've got a couple of people accessing my setup, and it's easier if I use Plex. It's now selling Sterling for a suite of use. Yep. How I rent my blogs in Obsidian and publish instantly. This blog is hosted on a Nintendo Wii. Are you kidding? Wow, this blog is hosted on a Nintendo Wii. If you're reading this message, let me zoom in. If you're reading this message, this experiment below is still ongoing. This page was served to you by a real Nintendo Wii. You can check the Wii's live status page for system load info. Wow, that's bonkers. Yeah, that's the first time I've seen this. That's amazing. It's been up for about a week. Apparently, that's really cool. And kind of goes through the whole... The single-core Broadway CPU in the Wii is part of IBM's continued evolution of the Power PC 750 lineup, dating all the way back to Apple's iconic 98. Wow. Yeah, I don't know like how in depth they go on this. Oh, they do. Wow, they go into all kinds of depth on that. That's really cool. I never would have had the thought to do that. That's crazy. Content Spotlight, meet Warwicker. Yeah, there we go. A self-hosted warranty tracking platform built for centralization. Warwicker allows users to effortlessly keep track of product warranties, expiration dates, and related documentation in a single place. Features include detailed records, document storage, alerts, search, authentication, imports, exports, and tagging. That's really cool. I think we actually talked about this a few weeks ago because there was a joke made about when you buy secondhand, there are no warranties. I feel like we talked about that a while back, but this might be an all right video to make. Videos and podcasts, Silver Bullet demo, intro, ditch password, self-host key pass with Pocket ID, checkmate, We talked about Checkmate a while back. I think we actually did a live stream on Checkmate at one point. Oops. Checkmate. Yeah, we did it. Man, that was back in January of this year. We did a 3-hour live stream about Checkmate. It's a cool product. And then the Zima word too. That's cool. Command line curl-I. Use curl to fetch only the HTTP headers of a request rather than the entire body. Huh. How did it... Oh, right, because, yeah, this actually went back. I guess Blue Sky went down yesterday or the day before, briefly. And I wasn't on it at the time, but I saw people talking about it later. Let's see. Nobody says, speaking of Jellyfin, I found their Android TV app is awful performance-wise. The movie can stutter, buffer, yeah, but when you cast the same file from your phone to TV with Chromecast, it works perfectly. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Like, it really is. Like I said, that's one of the reasons that there are certain things that I'm willing to go commercial on. Like for a while I had the MB Pass because I wanted to support the developers. But I also I liked what they were doing and everything worked for me. Then when I switched to Plex, because I was having issues with Jellyfin, with MB, and I'd used Plex in the past. And sometimes just the simplicity of going with the commercial product is just worth it. Like I've got a Plex Pass. It was a comp. Like, I didn't pay for it. They gifted it to me for making some content about one of their services. But like hosted or like paid email, I will always pay for email. I will always hopefully have a Plex Pass, just because I appreciate what they're doing with their media streaming. Though I don't necessarily like all of the stuff they've done with privacy related things. There are ways that you can make it better, maybe not perfect, but better. They're just certain things that sometimes going commercial is more better, depending on what you're trying to do. Like currently, like as much fun as this is to use and get attitude from and whatnot, it doesn't search the web currently. That is a plugin that somebody will have to build later on. But currently, if I ask it to search the web for something, or if I ask it a statistic or let's just try this. Hey, Jarvis, what is the population of Colorado?
The population of Colorado is approximately 5.83 million people, according to the 2020 United States Census. However, please note that this information does not come from the Home Assistant system, but rather from external knowledge. If you have any questions about the home's devices or systems, I'll be happy to help.
Okay, I did not expect that. Huh. Now I have to wonder, how did it do that? I'm genuinely curious about that. Let me look here. Now I'm super confused. I don't know how it did that, but it must just be part of the llama model that's being used. Right, kind of egg on the face moment. Yeah, no, you're not wrong. So that's interesting. I didn't expect that, because typically when I've asked it other questions like, "Hey Jarvis, who is the content creator that goes by DB Tech?"
I couldn't find any information about a content creator going by the name DB Tech within this smart home. However, I can suggest some possible sources where you may be able to find more information about DB Tech. 1. YouTube. You can try searching for DB Tech on YouTube to see if they have any videos or channels related to their work. 2.
So yeah, I think the issue there is that that Colorado population was part of the LLM that's being used for my setup. So I don't. So like I said, it wasn't able to go out and search the web. Now, like I showed in the video that went live yesterday. Let's do this. Who is a content creator who I tech? So it's generating a search query. Now this should be searching my self-hosted search engine, searching, whatever it's called. It should, in theory, be using that search engine to come up with this answer. I've had mixed results on whether or not it actually works. Currently, despite having this set up with the Docker Compose that I used in the video from yesterday, it only, in theory, works with OpenWebUI and not with the old Llama setup that is used on the voice device over here. And here we can see it's generating a search query, but it's still taking a really, really long time. And it's probably because everybody in my house is streaming right now on Plex. But anyway, you kind of get the point. That it's real hit and miss currently. So we'll let that go. Yeah, I don't even know how we got there, but we did, and there we are. So anyway, that's that. Anybody have any questions? I don't know why I asked that, but added the Chat GPT plugin on HA would probably work. Maybe one of the. In fact, let me go to Home Assistant. Like I've got OpenAI conversation, but it doesn't work real well from my experience. And then if I do like Chat GPT, I do OpenAI. There's OpenAI. There's and OpenAI extended. But that kind of goes against the local host stuff. Yeah. And that was kind of it. Like I wanted to have AI in my Home Assistant. But I didn't want it to be, I didn't want it to require the internet. Like if you look, like Tuya requires the internet, but I've also got local Tuya. Like Home Assistant Supervisor, like I don't use Meteorologist Institute. Like I don't use this, so it's whatever. Radio browser I don't use. It requires internet, but I don't use it, so it's kind of whatever. OpenAI conversation I will probably just remove, but it requires the internet. Like there aren't many things in here that require the internet to work, which I super appreciate with this current setup that we did a month or two ago on a live stream. But I wanted to be able to not be dependent on the internet for stuff around my house. I wanted to be able to say, hey, assistant, do the thing, and have it do the thing, and not have to go out to the internet to figure out what I said and then send the appropriate command back. I've still got a couple of these Google Home Minis or whatever they're called. Like this one obviously isn't plugged in here, but I've still got one in the front of the house. I've still got one in the bedroom, because I can ask them questions and that sort of thing. Yeah, that's why I kept the lady that shall not be named in the house. Yeah, I've never actually used that platform at all. I've only ever used the Google Smart stuff, and then of course, and now this Home Assistant voice thing. And I've actually considered getting a couple more to put in the front of the house, because I can have it. I can still have it do the every day. I have it give me a notification of like, hey, don't forget to do this thing. Like every day, there's one day that's a different time than the other 6 days, but like every day it gives me a hey, do this thing, don't forget. And then Tuesday night and Wednesday morning, it reminds me to take out the trash, because Wednesday morning is when trash comes. So I have it give me those two things, and I can do that in Home Assistant pretty easily. and that's one of the things I really dig about this is I can, go like automations and scenes, and I can say, create a new automation, add a trigger, which would be time and location. Time. Nope, that's not what I want. When, let's add a trigger. Let's do time and location, time pattern. Interesting. Periodically calendar. Huh. Interesting. But anyway, I should be able to, in theory, still have it do the same thing. Let's look at one other thing. Add this. Time and location, device. So it's got to be time and location. Time pattern, periodically at a defined interval. Hours, minutes, seconds. That's not what I want. Entity, so time and location, time pattern, zone, sun, calendar. When a calendar event starts. So I'd have to figure out how to say, like, on Monday at this time, do this. I'd figure that out. But I'm sure it can be done. I just haven't done it yet. So I'm going to cancel out of that. I don't want to do that. Cancel. Yes. No. Don't save. All right. But I will say, if you use the Navicosta cloud service, it speeds up the Amazon Echo a lot. Yeah. Sorry about the ads. But yeah, but that's just it. I don't. Oh, and now Twitch is going to start throwing ads. Ads everywhere. Hi. Close that. Thank you. Appreciate it, man. You're good. Go ahead. It's fine. Thank you. Appreciate that. All right. Go have fun jumping on the trampoline. I wish you were wearing shoes. Anyway, yeah. So I'm sure that I could do those things in here still if I needed to, which I probably will at some point. But I still really do want one of these home assistant voice P, whatever. You know what I mean. I want to get a couple more of these, and really for the price, like I bought mine from Seed Studio for like $60, and I'm thinking about getting 2 more. Again, just to replace the 2 up at the front, just because I think it could be fun to do. And what's nice about this is I can get each one to have a different personality if I wanted them to. I could set each device to use a different instance of, or a different, man, I don't even know. It's not a different instance because it's all the same instance of Olama, but I can give each one different commands as far as how to do what I want it to do. So anyway, I want to do that at some point, and for like $60, not too bad of a deal. So yeah, that's just one of those random things. Look at this real quick. Oops. But yeah, if you want to pick one up, and if you use this, you can get one of those. Oops. You can get one of those voice assistant PE things, and I'll make a couple of bucks off of the affiliate thing for that. So if you want to pick one up, there's a link for you. Again, I'm thinking about getting some more, and I've said that a half a dozen times. So there you go. Trying to think if there's anything else that I wanted to cover in this video. We talked about, yeah, like that. So I only have the affiliate over on Seed Studio. Like you can go other places and get them, but if you use the link that I just shared through that Seed Studio link, I've got that's an affiliate link, and I'll make a couple of bucks on that. I think it's actually $5 is what I made on that with the one person that bought via my link so far. I think they've netted me like $5 in commission. So anyway, if you want to do that, great. If not, no worries. Just kind of a neat little thing. Yeah, better than none. Yeah, and Seed's been great to work with. I think I've actually worked with them in collaborations in the past. I think they've sponsored some stuff. Maybe not. I thought they did. Seed Audio at some point, but that might be something different entirely. Audio. Yeah, no, Seed Audio is definitely a different thing entirely. But anyway, yeah. So that's out of the different places that are available to pick one of those home assistant devices up. Seed is the only place that I currently have an affiliate thing with. So your choice. Just throwing it out there for you to take a look at if you want to. But yeah. I think that kind of covers everything we wanted to talk about in this video. I'm trying to think if there's any other bits of news. I guess there's one other place I can look real quick. I actually set this up for this specific reason. Excuse me. So if you're not part of the Discord, you should be. And I recently set up this little sub forum thing where you can share interesting news articles, just to share interesting news articles. And I've shared a couple of them in here, like hackers exploit. Can I drag this over? Hackers exploit Cloudflare tunnel infrastructure to deploy multiple remote access Trojans. Dude, that's awesome. Collins, that's really cool. So this is an email exploit. Like you have to open the file that they send you in order to compromise the system this way. So like Duke said down here, which is hard for you to read, is the first thing I do with emails that looks like is look at the sender's email. Yeah, always check your emails. Don't just start clicking things. But they use an email exploit to do this. Very much kind of the same way like how I got my account compromised, or I got some of my accounts compromised, like Linus got his systems compromised. Same general way of having that happen. It's a file exploit in an email. This one I love. This OpenAI spends millions to process polite phrases such as "thank you" and "please." I've always been a please and thank you with the robot overlords that will eventually take over, and I don't think that's ever going to change really, because it humanizes the interaction. It's not just giving commands. It's making everything more human. And it's practicing good habits, good manners, I guess. But yeah, I actually had a chat yesterday with ChatGPT about that. I wonder if I can find it. I think it's this account. Maybe not. We'll see. I don't remember if it's this account or my other account. Was it this one? Nope. This was for that. That one, no. Should I see? No. Man, I'll never find it now. In fact, it may have been on a completely different platform. Oh, yeah, it was actually right here. Where I was actually asking ChatGPT about, I said, does AI tend to prefer politeness? Does politeness from humans impact the results that AI will give the user? And we had this long conversation about integrating AI into the home more effectively, and would it be nice if each of say your different appliances in your kitchen, for instance, if each one of them had its own personality, or should all of them kind of be part of a single brain that you just say, hey, kitchen, I'm making lasagna, check the fridge to make sure I've got all the stuff I need, versus saying, hey, refrigerator, I'm making lasagna, and having to address each thing independently. We had this really weird long conversation about all of that. It was kind of interesting to have that kind of a conversation with an AI. Let's see. Aruna says, ooh, Unify Protect can now send alerts to custom webhooks. That's pretty cool. There's actually a thing that I wanted to do when I first got my my Unify doorbell. And that was if it detected a person, have it say something. Or if it detected a package, have it say something. And I could get it to say something on my Google Home Mini in the living room, or I could have it say something on the Pro AI camera that's in the backyard, but I couldn't get the doorbell to say anything. And I think they actually updated that in their most recent update, and I haven't had a chance to check it out yet. Not Sheldon says, I definitely don't want to live in the brave little toaster world. Let all my devices be run by a single entity like those evil home AI movies. Yeah, like that's what I want. Like I want one personality for my house that can then control everything versus having a dozen or more different personalities that aren't going to be cohesive as far as their communication with each other. I would rather have one global AI brain that interacts with all of the devices in the back end and gives me status updates and that sort of thing based on one brain versus lots of different personalities. And that was kind of the conversation I had with ChatGPT yesterday. So just kind of an interesting thing. And of course, like when I did this thing with the Olama on this configure, like the amount of I used GPT for a good portion of this, but then had to go in and tweak a bunch of stuff. But there was a certain point at which it was getting too much information from these instructions, and it was like, cool, I turned off the lights because you're so dim you don't need lights anyway, or whatever. But then it didn't actually turn off the lights, or it would say, I've set the lights to red per your request, but then it actually turned all of the lights off. So I had to go through and make some changes to some of this. But there's kind of a fine line between what's functional and what's not. And I had to kind of keep dialing it. Like I gave it too much and I had to start dialing it back until it started working appropriately. So, hi again. He, when he walks through, he can see himself on the screen over here, and he really likes to see himself on screens, like live, like with phone cameras and webcams. He just loves to look at himself and like kind of have that, like he'll do this and see that, and he really enjoys that. It's called a cameo, yeah. And he'll be making a lot of cameos throughout the next several months. Until it gets so cold that he can't go out and play in the backyard anymore. So yeah, I think that is definitely something that will continue to happen. Photobomb, yep, absolutely. Excuse me, man. I may have to wrap it up here soon. My throat's starting to give out on me. But yeah, all kinds of fun stuff that you can do with a home lab, and that's what I really like about it. The Stan Lee of DB Tech, right? Kind of. My wife will love that you said that. She's like, we both love Stan Lee, and we're really sad to see him go. But like to go back and watch the movies where he's made cameos, like it gets us choked up a little bit sometimes, especially knowing the backstory and some of his cameos and that sort of thing. It's just, he was such a cool dude that made such an impact on so many lives. So, yep, he was a good guy. Good guy. So yeah, I think we're going to go ahead and start wrapping this up. It's been about 2 hours, a little over 2 hours we've been at this. And you guys have been awesome, and we covered the stuff that I think we wanted to cover. Had a chance to just kind of chat for a bit, which I love. got to check out the Home Assistant newsletter, or the self-host weekly newsletter. Man, I get stuck on one train of thought there, man. Yeah, so we had a chance to hang out, and I think that's awesome. Oh yeah, there was also this. We only got part of the way into this. Oh yeah, everybody wants to buy Chrome. Apparently, Google owning Chrome is bad. So now everybody wants to buy Chrome. What else do we have? Yeah, Google loses ad tech monopoly case. TP-Link IoT smart devices. So yeah, anyway, the reason I brought this up initially is if you're not part of the Discord, it'd be really cool if you were. Dang it. If you just Google DB Tech Reviews, there's a Discord link right there that you can use. So if you're not, if you're not part of the Discord, that's how you can join Discord quickly and easily. As long as you agree to the rules, you'll be good to go. But yeah, we've got this. Oops, damn it. We've got this new forum section in here where you can share news about whatever's going on in the tech world. Of course, you can just hang out and chat. You can get there. We've got stuff about getting tech help. If you need some help with something, you can post in here. But yeah, I think I just wanted to share that. Let's see. Fun fact: my networking stuff uses less power together than my gaming router. It's time for that router to vanish, as my AP is also very conservative. That's awesome. That's really cool. But yeah, I think if you haven't joined Discord, please do that. That'd be cool. Let's have more people hanging out, chatting in there, and continuing to build the community that we're working on. But I think with all of that said, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. Again, thank you guys for spending some of your Saturday with me today. I would have normally said Saturday morning, but you guys are all over the world. So I hope you're having a great rest of your weekend. And I'll definitely chat with you here again real soon, either in another live stream or an upcoming video. So again, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. And I'll talk to you again here real soon.